Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the United States Census 2020 300. Homestead-Miami Speedway, the place of race number 25 of this NASCAR Xfinity Series Custom Schedule season. Just 2 races to go until the playoffs as we get started here tonight. And let me tell you guys, we have a crazy one coming into this one here today. If you did not see the Mid-Ohio race yesterday, quick recap. Kyle Busch led the majority of the first half of the race, but there were problems as Austin Cendrick ended up closing in on him. Cendrick started mid-pack right around 16, took him a little bit to get going. With about 40 laps to go or so, the two were battling back and forth for the lead for about 10 laps until with just over 30 laps to go, they made contact once. Busch tried to clear Cendrick. And then Cendrick doors Busch in the very next corner. Final corner of the racetrack coming back to the start-finish line. Cendrick gets loose. Kyle tries to miss him. T-bones him. Cendrick into the wall. Busch into the wall. Busch crashed out. Austin Cendrick went on to recover and win the race. So Kyle Busch's points lead has dwindled, and not only dwindled, it has vanished. Austin Cendrick comes into the race with a 7-point lead over Kyle Busch with 2 races to go for that regular season championship. So that is what we are looking for here tonight, is the battle between those two. There are other points battles for the playoff spots that will be highlighted more so for tomorrow night, which will be the regular season finale at Richmond, strictly because I have to calculate all the rest of the points from the prior race yet. I only made sure I got the top 2, so that way between Busch and Cendrick here, so we can at least keep track of that for tonight. So I'll work on that after this one concludes here in this one. 25 Gamer called 88. Welcome to the stream, guys, and welcome everybody else that is tuning in here in the very beginning of this one. We're going to run practice. We're going to run qualifying. We do have the steering wheel in play for the race today.
All right, now dig.
We're trying to get the car right where we need it to be. Practice simply to get this car in shape. See how fast of a car Kyle Busch might have for today's race. He needs a good qualifying effort. He needs a good race effort if he's going to want to win the regular season championship. He's 7 points back on Cendrick. 2 races to go. Who would have thought it would have came down to this? Cendrick has led in the points most of the season. Kyle Busch, though, over the last handful of races, took the lead away, was pulling away, had a little bit over a 30-point lead, but only scoring 1 point in the last race compared to Cendrick's 40 with the win. A huge turn of momentum there, and Cendrick with the points lead now, again by 7 points coming into the race tonight. It's pretty crazy. Rafael Perez, Poixon, welcome to the stream. First time we've raced here in this NASCAR Xfinity Series season as well. Yeah, it might help if I had the earpiece in. That's probably why you couldn't hear me. Oh, jeez. My bad. I don't even know what I was thinking there. You guys probably didn't hear a word I said to start off that video. That was a rookie error right there. Haven't done that before. Joshua White, welcome to the stream. So welcome everybody that is just tuning in for this race here today. Again, practice will run about 7 laps here. Gonna practice 1 pit stop as well. Gotcha. All right. Well, at least you heard the intro. So again, 7-point lead in between Busch and Cendrick coming into the race tonight. It's going to be talked about quite a bit, but that's an extra 15 playoff points on the line to the regular season champ. Busch and Cendrick, the only two drivers with multiple wins this year. Busch has dominated in the wins category with 14 wins on the season. Austin Cendrick has 3. But still, somehow, all those wins, Kyle Busch is still 7 points behind Cendrick. Cendrick is not DNF'd yet this year. Kyle Busch is DNF'd twice. Which even that's a good season there for Kyle as far as that goes and all the wins. But it seems like when he's not winning, he's struggling just to get a top 10 at that point. So that is why he has struggled to try and keep up with Cendrick for most of the year. And then he finally caught up to him in just a tough break of what happened in the late going yesterday. So Kyle Busch going to practice his pit stop here off of turn 4. Oh, that might be speeding. It is. That is a huge speeding penalty there for Kyle Busch, but luckily it's just practice, and it's good to get the cobwebs out now before the start of the race. R6, welcome to the stream. What's favorite track from each category, like road, speedway, etc.? Gotcha. Bristol's definitely my favorite short track. Favorite intermediate's tough because I want to be a little biased and say Michigan just because I've been going to 2 races there, with that being my home track. But it isn't the best track, my most favorite to necessarily watch. I'd probably say Chicagoland right now. I'd probably say Chicagoland is up there with the intermediates. Favorite road course is Watkins Glen. I guess Super Speedway. Gotta have the Daytona 500 in there. Daytona. Talladega's just as thrilling though, so that's really in there. Ooh boy. So that is going to be it for practice here for Kyle Busch. Fastest lap at practice was a 32.710. That was his 4th lap that he... Jeez Louise. That was the 4th lap that he ran. I knocked over the mic. Fumbling everything here tonight. Least favorite racetrack? I don't really know. I don't really have a... I mean, maybe... I guess Pocono, but... I mean, every track puts on at least a good race from time to time.
Let's go now.
So on to qualifying now. Here we go. Top 24 make it into round number 2. 1 lap for Kyle Busch in this opening round. And we'll have to see what he's got. It's going to be a 300-mile, 200-lap race here tonight. B, welcome to the stream. Texas was a pretty good 1.5 miles, honestly, before the reconfiguration. So the 1 lap there, Busch kind of ran that middle line, 32.825, 29th in qualifying for Kyle Busch. Man, he struggled there. That was a big time struggle for Kyle Busch. Maybe a little too tight of a setup, perhaps. Loosen it up just a hair. Looks like he'll gain 2 spots for the start of the race, and that is not what Kyle Busch needed. He needed a lot better qualifying effort there. Luckily, he got no stages, but man, this is going to be very, very tough. Black Ace, welcome to the stream. This should make 300 lap Richmond race. 400's a good length. It might have seemed long just because there were no cautions for incident, but if you figure by the time the green flag dropped the other night to the time the checkered flag flew, the race was less than 3 hours. I think the total time of the race was barely over 2.5 hours, so it was a fairly quick race. It was just kind of uneventful as far as the battle for the lead went. I mean, it was clear that for the last 2/3 of the race, Keselowski had the fastest car, and the only way anybody was going to catch him really was going to be a penalty. Truex, I mean, he still finished the race within a couple seconds, but never had a shot really at the lead. So Ray Black Jr., Jeremy Clements will be the 2 drivers to start at the rear of the field. Jesse Little looks like he's got a pretty fast car for today's race. He's a driver that doesn't have a win. Could you imagine if he pulls off an upset? 9 different winners still on the season. We will have at least 1 driver lock themselves in on points. Who will it be, and will we get another new winner in these final 2 regular season races? The green flag is in the air at Homestead for the NASCAR Xfinity Series. Here we go. Opening lap of the race. Oh, Jeffrey Earnhardt about got into the back. I believe that was the 92 of Josh Williams he almost got in behind. No, it was not Williams. It was that white car that was in front of him there. 3 wide down to the bottom goes Busch through 1 and 2. It was the 89 of Castle. Look at Jeffrey Earnhardt go up the middle there. Squeezing in between Busch and Brandon Brown as he takes off to the outside now of Landon Castle. Kyle Busch already to the top 20 early on in the race tonight. Tough to tell exactly where Austin Cendrick's at on the racetrack. He is definitely ahead of Kyle Busch, that is for sure. Whatever happens, Kyle's likely going to have to beat Cendrick to give himself a good shot. But by how many positions can he beat him by? Because if Kyle Busch doesn't win the race and, say, only beats Cendrick by a couple spots, he's looking at 4 or 5 points the way Cendrick has ran so far. Come without a win at Richmond. Richmond, probably my worst racetrack on this game, so we are not in a good position to get Kyle Busch the regular season championship. Kyle looking to take the points lead back here tonight. Car seems to handle pretty well early in the run. Seems like Busch is able to run the middle, top, or the bottom lane, whatever he so chooses. Top is definitely the way to go if he could stick it. Look at that drive off. Kyle gets off at turn 2, really pulling Joe Nemechek down the back straightaway and into turn 3. We've had a consistency of having about 4 or 5 races on the streams, no matter what series we seem to run, to have cautions right at lap 4. A lot as of late. We are at least past the lap 4 mark in this race without a yellow. Busch is going to move up in front of Sieg. Sieg got really tight once Busch got in front of him, probably took the air off of the front of the car. Kyle Busch looking to the inside of Haley off of turn number 4 for 15th. Jeffrey Earnhardt's moved up quite a bit. He's up to 14th, looking for 13th on Michael Annett. Oh, Annett tried to block him to the inside. Busch had a big run to the top. Haley coming from behind. Almost got in the back of Busch. Haley had to get out of the gas. And here comes Busch getting the drive down the back straightaway now. Man, Earnhardt really pulled Annett down the back, but so did Busch. Annett loses a couple spots this lap. Joe Gragson outside the top 10 early on. He needs points without a win this season. Just a couple more races before the playoffs. Again, we'll take a little bit closer look at the playoff bubble going into the Richmond race tomorrow night once I get all the points calculated from tonight's race as well as last night's. But we do know the regular season title battle. Look at them going 3 wide up there for ninth place. Riley Herbst, Alex LeBay, Brandon Jones in the mix. Busch almost got in the wall. Oh, he did get in the side of the 0 of Jeffrey Earnhardt, though. He tried to keep it off the wall and got the car to turn really left. Busch all the way to the outside. How is this going to work? 4 wide off the exit of turn 4. Riley Herbst gives way out of the gas, and look at Busch with a huge run on the top. Kyle just kind of sneaking up there. Getting major runs off the exit of the corner. He's getting really close to that wall, but boy, he is really had to hang out for being very early in the race. Kind of risky to run quite that high, but he's making it work. Austin Cindric currently in the 6th position in the early going of the race. Busch's car keeps getting faster and faster over the course of the run as he now goes for 7th on Daniel Hemrick. Yeah, exactly. He definitely had a quick closing rate on Anthony Alfredo that lap when we were 3 wide on the top. Ooh boy. Looking at the chat a little too long there. At least it wasn't a big mistake, luckily. Ross Chastain, top 5. He's had a string of good runs here, but he's a decent ways away below that cut line, at least going into last night. He had a decent run in last night's race, and he's got a top 5 performance early on in this one, but it's going to be tough for Chastain to point his way into the playoffs. What a shame that would be if he misses out for Colleague Racing. Cindric to the bottom, Busch all the way to the top. This is going to give Kyle quite a big run off of turn 4 on Cindric. Cindric pulls up in front of Busch. Busch had to get out of the gas. He tries to cross him over. Remember, these two wrecked each other for the lead with just over 30 to go at Mid-Ohio yesterday. Cindric bailed himself out getting the win, but Busch unfortunately finished last after DNFing there, and Busch will get the pass early on Cindric. Busch tried to clear Cendrick, got into him. Cendrick then doored him, so a little bit of a payback there, but then Cendrick lost control in the final corner of the racetrack. And Busch just couldn't miss him. It was a heck of a sequence of events. Any idea how they can make these games any better? Well, I mean, honestly, NASCAR Heat 5 is a good game outside of the bugginess. And what I mean by that, I mean, like, it's not so much on the track, per se, but it's more like the game modes and the game crashing and glitching. Honestly, if all that stuff never happened, even if what most people say this is a copy-paste game from Heat 4, you can feel some of the differences when you're actually racing. It's not a terrible game. It's not as bad as what people say. Oh, I was looking at the chat too long again there. Definitely a little bit of a lack of attention, and we can't have that today. There's some lap traffic up there with the leaders, I believe, right now. Busch is still about 7 seconds off the lead. Well, yeah, there's a lot of different things they could do. One of the big things I wish they could do is they need to add the All-Star race. They need to add the duels at Daytona, as well as the Clash. I think they've got to get the preseason races, especially the Daytona Duels and the All-Star race. The All-Star race for the career mode would be pretty cool. Especially if you're trying to get in, you know, you're trying to earn the money and upgrade your equipment. If you could race for $1 million bonus, that'd be awesome. The Daytona Duels, though, I mean, you have to have those in. They actually, those are points races now. They offer points kind of like as if the stages go in NASCAR. So if you 10 points, second gets 9, all the way down to 10th gets 1. So they even offer points in real life for those races. Those have to be in the game. I mean, those are actual points races. That's definitely one of the big things that they should have had that before Heat 5, but that would be pretty cool on your career mode if you had to qualify your way into the 500, especially that rookie season. Can you imagine the pressure going into that race knowing you have to beat some of the back marker cars? Congratulations, they're called. Busch did move to the top 5. He got around Chastain the last lap. He's working on Harrison Burton right now for 4th. He's going to get a big run off the top. Burton was in the bottom in 3 and 4, and here comes the run. Oh, McLaughlin in the way. Busch clears Harrison. Oh, Burton got loose. Burton got loose. Busch about put it in the wall, too. Harrison Burton about got in the wall. He got really loose. The rear end of the car was coming out, and I think he kept it off the wall. That was a great save back there. Just wondering how Kyle was able to drive away from him as much as he did. Now Busch uses Jeff Green as a pick to get around Chase Briscoe in the 98 car. Jesse Little leads the race by 4 seconds over Justin Allgaier, who is in second. Busch running down the second place car right now. Could you imagine Jesse Little getting the win? He is in the top 20 points. I know that for a fact. But he does not have a win this season. That would be another upset winner this year. And late in the regular season, that would be a fantastic story for that 14. Oh, Busch really drove it in there deep, but he couldn't clear the 7. If he would have went all the way to the bottom, he might have had a chance to slide up in front of him, but he went to the top. Allgaier had the top in front of him, but now he's going to use Fincham as a pick into turn number 1. So Busch is going to get around Allgaier that way for second place. A little strategic pass by Kyle Busch that time. Cendrick no longer in the top 5, so the points as they run, assuming Cendrick is still in 6th place. The points would be as they run. Kyle Busch would be just 3 points behind Cendrick. But if he could take the lead, that would be a 5-point difference between first and second. And therefore, that would give Kyle Busch a 2-point lead in the standings as they run. No caution in the early going of the race so far tonight. Just 25 laps into this 200 lapper. More than halfway through the tire run already for Busch. Definitely going to have to save those tires over the course of the race also. Had some issues with the mile-and-a-half races this year and trying to conserve the tire wear. Isn't a really old surface at Homestead, old enough that the multiple groove racing has definitely become more prevalent over the last few years alone. And Little still got a 3-second lead. I mean, he is absolutely hauling out there. And he's going to make it tough on Kyle Busch and the rest of the field here today. I can tell you guys that much.
Careful, still there. You got room, you're clear there. All right, you're clear there.
Busch wasn't attempting to run the outside there. David Starr made a late move to the middle, and Busch hesitated a little bit about putting it in the wall, but nonetheless, he was able to stick the high line regardless. We're going to alternate through the different camera angles for the first time in the race here tonight. 2.5 seconds is the difference between Jesse Little, Kyle Busch. Another 3 seconds back to third place. Justin Allgaier. You got Chase Briscoe in fourth, and Harrison Burton back to fifth place. Brittany Allen, welcome to the stream. King said hi. All right, cool. Welcome, King, wherever you may be watching. And Busch definitely has a fast, long-run car, but he is not gaining a whole lot on Jesse Little, though. He's chipping away, chipping away, chipping away, but that 4 car is fast. Busch not necessarily in a must-win situation, but that would make his life easier at Richmond if he can get the win. Depending on where Cendrick would finish, he can take the points lead away right back after Cendrick just nabbed it after the last race. Oh, Busch got loose off of turn 4. He had to get out of the gas. He didn't want to get into the side of the 78 of Vinnie Miller. A little sketchy there. Now I'll get around him to the inside. That middle to upper lane being used quite a bit here by Kyle Busch. He really wants to run down Jesse Little if we have green flag stops. He wants to get around him before the pit stops. So then Busch could get that advantage. At least the car feels pretty stable for Busch throughout the course of the run, so that's always nice. get to the wall now through 3 and 4. That's a tough break too, because Jesse Little got caught behind a couple of lap cars there that kind of slowed him down, but Busch slowed himself down by messing up the corner just a tad bit. So he didn't quite get out of the gas enough. And that's the risk with running the top. It's a lot easier to get in the fence. Little's had to change his line all the way to the bottom just to get around the lap cars now. Busch comes off the wall just a tad bit there. And there's Jesse Little. He's not too far behind Kyle Busch. I should say Busch isn't too far behind Little. Little still in the lead. Oh man, 3 wide, lap traffic right in front of for Little to go. Busch to the outside. Little stuck on the bottom, which is the same lane Austin Hill took. Kyle Busch easily to the lead off of turn 2. That was a big time move by Kyle Busch to get to the lead just before the pit stops. He's not managing that right front tire very well though here tonight, as he's going to have to pit before the end of his actual fuel run. Yeah, trust me, I plan on getting into iRacing in the future. It's just a matter of when and not necessarily if. Definitely have to save up to actually get a rig that I would prefer. There's a lot of other things that I plan on trying to help the channel and stuff as far as the purchasing goes before I think about getting the iRacing rig. So not necessarily at the top of the agenda, but I definitely like to get there at some point. So caution's out for the first time today at lap 37. We're going to have our first pit stops of the race. 4 fresh tires coming under the stop here for Kyle Busch and the rest of the field. And Kyle took the lead just 2 laps before the caution. Well, here we go. Green flag back in the air. Kyle Busch wins the race off pit road, leads the field to the green at lap 40. Jesse Little will restart in second. We'll get to see how fast these 2 cars are with one another. Now, Busch likely doesn't have the short run car. Little's just got a steady car, it seems like, throughout the course of the run. But a great restart there by Kyle Busch for starters. He should be able to lead the first lap off the restart, I'd have to imagine. With Jesse Little right there. Little to the bottom of the track. Busch slides through turns 1 and 2. Little easily going to clear him, and here comes Allgaier. Justin Allgaier up to second place. Boy, he barely cleared Busch. Look at the run Harrison Burton got off the top. Oh, Allgaier drove it in deep. Oh, he drove it in too deep. He got out of the gas right in front of Busch. Busch runs into the back of him. Now Busch gets split 3 wide with Burton and, oh man, Daniel Hemrick. Hands full for Kyle Busch off of turn 4. Man, oh man. As Jesse Little tries to drive away. Austin Cendrick will get by Kyle Busch now. Big side draft there by Busch on Jones, but he didn't make contact. Cendrick blocking now the 54 of Kyle Busch. The 2 championship leaders battling. Jones to the inside of Cendrick. Oh, look at Riley Herbst up the middle. A little bit of contact between him and Busch. Not a lot of room there for Herbst. Kind of just squeezed it in. Kyle lost a ton of spots on the restart. He was good for about a lap, and that was about it. Welcome back, R6. R6, nope. You have not missed trivia yet here tonight. Almost a quarter of the way through the race. Fastest lap of the race that last time for Kyle Busch. Jesse Little still leads, but Allgaier's putting the pressure on him this time. Let's to see if Little can continue to drive away. That 17 might have made adjustments under that pit stop. Luckily, they have a win this year. We'll be seeing them in the playoffs. 3 wide. Not too far up ahead. Cendrick to the bottom of Alex Labbe. Hemrick gets the run off the top. They're still 3 wide down the front straightaway. Man, Chastain really fell outside of the top 10. He was in the top 5 there at the very beginning of the race. He's back to 11th right now.
Still there. Still there.
Hemrick and Busch kind of chose the same lane, but Busch drives it to the inside. Side drafts Hemrick now down the front straightaway. Alex Labbe almost in Kyle Busch's way, but Busch will slide up in front of Hemrick. Busch with a big run and a big dive to the bottom. Oh, he's got a huge head of steam into turn 3. 3 wide to the bottom of the track underneath Hurst. Labbe. There's Cendrick. Oh, that is very tight. Hurst in the middle. Cendrick near the wall. Busch on the bottom. Cendrick's clear on top. Labbe is up there now. Busch clears Labbe and Hurst. Slide job in on Cendrick. Kyle Busch up to 6th. Jones going to the bottom. Busch is just getting huge runs on him off the top side of the track. Oh, Busch in the wall off of turn 2. Man, he still outdrove Brandon Jones. Jones must have got really tight and had to lift or something. That time Busch got tight. Had to lift on corner exit. Not ideal at all there. Lap 50 here in this one now. Jesse Little slowly gapping Justin Allgaier, not by much. Allgaier within the vicinity still. Chase Briscoe up to 3rd place. Harrison Burton 4th, and Kyle Busch rounds out the top 5. Cendrick is back to at least 8th place, if not 9th. Burton starting to lose Chase Briscoe slightly here. Kyle Busch with a big run. Into turn 1. Oh, he overdrove the corner. And he can't quite clear the 20. He overdrove turns 1 and 2. The 20 of Burton's going to get a big run off the top. Busch is going to side draft him though. Trying to make sure he doesn't clear him. That was a big side draft. Busch goes forward again through 3 and 4, and he easily clears him that time. Oh, he almost slid it up into the wall. Burton had a big charge late there. He got to the back bumper of Busch, but he couldn't quite cross him over. Yeah, you can make a custom playoff, no regular season. You just have to have the right amount of races. Whether it's got to be 10, 7, 4, or just 1. Granted, 1 it really wouldn't matter anyway, but yeah, you just have to select that you want playoffs, and then just select how many rounds. Yeah, that would be a cool addition to select who you want in the playoffs. Kind of like the old EA NASCAR games when they had the chase and you could select who you wanted in the chase. Yeah, Johnson definitely had a rough go at Richmond. Now remember, he got in the wall like 40 or 50 laps into the race. He got in the wall off of turn 4 with the right rear. And it affected the aero of his car pretty much the rest of the night. They couldn't get it fixed, so that's why he was running right around 30th the whole race. That damage really messed the handling of the car up big time. We'll do trivia right around the halfway point. Kind of like usual. Usually try to do it right around halfway. Halfway or whenever we have a dollar point in the race. Oh, 3 lap cars right in front of Jesse Little. Little's got only about a 1 second lead on Allgaier. Allgaier's consistently getting a little bit quicker as the race wears on. We have only had 1 pit stop so far, so as far as the setups go, he's definitely trying to gain more and more as we carry on. Ray Howard, Royals Bravo, welcome to the stream. Hey, Team Penske besides Blaine. Oh boy, look at that, 3 wide for the lead, Allgaier. Little, oh look at Busch, 4 wide. What a move by Kyle Busch. He had a huge run into turn number 3, sorry, turn 1 rather, and he overtakes them both. They were side drafting each other just enough. What a move! 4 wide into turn 1. There was a hole on the bottom of the track, and he was able to take it away. That was an unbelievable move by Kyle Busch, and that's the quick way of trying to get it done. You can see how badly Kyle wants to win this regular season championship. Willing to make moves like that mid-race. That just happened so quickly, too. Kyle trying to drive away now. Little was the big loser. Man, that lap traffic costed him not only the lead, but second place as well, as Allgaier's now a couple car lengths ahead of him. Little trying to reel him back in, though. They're now battling for second once more, and they're now both a second, a little over a second off the lead, so they are falling back further and further. Again, just 1 caution so far in the race tonight.
Stay low, stay low. You got it, you're clear there.
man. I was looking at the chat a little too long there. 9 times out of 10 when I miss a corner like that, it's because I'm looking at the chat. You guys can probably kind of see where my eyes are at. And then I look up and I'm like, oh no. Trying to multitask as much as I can. Between trying to keep the realistic broadcast, trying to race, especially with the steering wheel, and then trying to keep an eye on the chat too. It's very difficult. It's a tough couple hours usually every night, but Kyle with that long run speed got to the lead a lot quicker over this run than what he did on the prior run. But again, a lot of it is because these guys did not get through the lap traffic nearly as well as they did at the start of the race. Jesse Little, Allgaier, they were battling with each other as well going through the lap traffic. That allowed Busch to pounce quickly, making that 4 wide pass for the lead into turn 1. Seen some fun racing in the first half of the event here today, though, that is for sure. Yeah, I'm not going to short pit quite that early. We have limited, or I should say, I use limited tires when it comes to these Xfinity and truck races. Kind of like they do in real life, so I only give myself 4 sets of tires, so our tire strategy is a little bit different here. Try not to make it unlimited, so it makes having to manage tires a lot more difficult. Looks like David Starr is going to give Busch the outside lane there, giving him a lot of room. Busch had a huge run. Oh, man, Busch. I was going to say, he was really close to the wall that time. He was sticking the corner, and the car just stepped out on him on the exit of turn 2. And sideswiped the wall there just a tad bit. That's enough to wear the tires out there just a little bit more than what he would have liked. Still decent ways left to go in the race, though. Performance upgraded, NASCAR Heat 5. No, I did not hear about that, Ray. Give myself more sets of time. No, I think 4 is a good number. Honestly. Because that, I mean, it splits the race up into 50 lap. Well, see, it's really 5 sets. If you count the set I have at the start of the race, it's just 4 fresh sets. But, I mean, we've been doing that all year. And we've been close a couple times on trying to save and manage the tires to the end of the race, but we've been able to do it. It's not impossible to get to a certain race and make it difficult on ourselves. Where it really gets difficult is where the drivers end up pitting behind us and we stay out because it's too early in the run for us to pit, and then they're on like 20 lap fresher tires. It's where it really hurts, but I like the challenge though. Tim Irvin, welcome to the stream. Give myself more sets for the Xfinity Championship. Well, the Championship's at Talladega. And tire wear isn't really tires don't wear out really that much at Talladega, so I won't have to worry about using more than 4 sets there. And then the Truck Series is at Vegas, but it's only a 200-mile event, so we shouldn't have to worry about using 4 sets there either. There's a good chance you're going to see right sides only under this next pit stop, though, for Kyle Busch. Just using a half a set. Seen that strategy numerous times this season. That is if it is going to be a green flag stop, though. If it's going to be a pit stop under caution, it'll be 4 tires. Well, I don't know, though. We're not even halfway home yet. I don't think we want to use 2 sets of tires in the first half of the race if we can help it. We take right sides next, and 4 tires, and then right sides again, then that'll give us 1 set for the last stop. Assuming we get there. We don't know how the cautions are going to play out. We haven't had any short runs today. 37 laps into the opening run of the race, then we got a caution. And we're right about that pace again. We went green at lap 40, so at the start-finish line, it'll be 34 laps into this run. So pretty equivalent to where we were on the last green flag run before we got that caution. So we'll have to see how this is going to work here. 8-second lead overall. Geyer still, Jesse Little still hanging in there in 3rd place. He's giving himself a shot. He likely can't point his way into the playoffs, but if he wins, though, that'd be a nice spot for him. Allgaier has a win this season. Obviously, Kyle Busch has multiple wins, battling for the regular season title. Chase Briscoe, winless on the season. Harrison Burton, also winless. And Briscoe was actually below the cut line going into last night, so I'm not sure exactly where he's at tonight as we run. Harrison Burton was one of the last few drivers that was barely in on points when we, or I should say when I last looked at it. Yeah, I don't want to spoil my Oh, I didn't even. Okay, so the post-race analysis video, it just dawned on me. I meant to upload that today because for whatever reason it didn't upload yesterday. I just completely forgot about it when I was at work all day today. I'll get on that as soon as this gets to an end tonight. I completely forgot about that. I have it recorded. I just, for whatever reason, it like didn't upload on YouTube. I don't know if it was like it took too long because I didn't have great service or connection at the time, or yeah, I definitely got to get on that. But I usually, Ray, if you're new to the channel, I have prediction videos every week. I give fantasy live advice and analysis. I do my research, and typically 9 times out of 10 I have a pretty good week. So give my thoughts and opinions on my predictions for that race as we go forward, and then my predictions for who's going to get eliminated in this round of the playoffs also. Don't limit myself in Cup. No, I don't limit myself in Cup. It's the only series I don't limit myself in. I don't know what a good number would be there. Then they'd really, I mean, they limit them in Cup, but they don't limit them too tightly. Like, they give them like 8 or 9 sets of tires, and they don't even pit that many times half the time. They pit twice, you know, once during the stage, once at the stage end. You know, if they do that the whole race, they're only... And then maybe 2 in the final stage, because the final stage is usually longer. But I mean, that's usually only 6 stops a race anyway, and then, you know, random cautions here and there they'll pit. And that's where you see them using the extra, like, 3 sets they might have. But yeah, they really don't go through that many tires compared to what they're given. But the Xfinity and the truck teams, tighter budget there when it comes to tires. They usually only have like 4 or 5 sets every week. Granted, they're shorter races too, but they're a lot more limited. 6% tire wear left on the right front here, so Kyle Busch is going to pit this time by, it'll be lap 80, or sorry, it is lap 80, so it'll be lap 81 by the time he comes out of pit road. Austin Cendrick has fallen back to 10th place, still barely in the top 10, and he's lucky Kyle Busch is pitting this time. So although he'll go a lap down into turn 3, he'll easily get his lap back here. Busch is going to be the first to hit pit road. So remember, Kyle in practice had a pit road speeding penalty. Got to make sure he watches his speed this time. Great job there. Right side tires only for Kyle Busch. Full tank of fuel. He'll repair that 1 second of damage he's got. So a little bit of strategy here with this call for Kyle Busch, trying to save the tires. You like speedways or tracks like Sonoma? I mean, I kind of got a similar question, but that was a different question. But as far as like what track I least like, and I really don't dislike any races. I can find, like, strategy races are fun, in my opinion. I think strategy races are just as fun as regular on-track beating and banging racing. Like, I like the change and the variety of it. So that's why I feel like Pocono has a place on the schedule. Maybe not twice on the schedule necessarily, but tracks like Pocono, bigger tracks like that, Indianapolis, do have a place on the schedule, I feel like, for that reason. You got to mix it up every now and then. I think strategy races definitely have to be in play. If everything, you know, comes down to no strategy, caution-filled races, it's just not... It'll get tiresome after a while. So the change of pace is definitely there. We kind of saw that with Richmond this week, you know, how much of a strategy race it was with the, you know, do we pit once, you know, in the stage twice, because you saw a lot of people using that two-stop strategy, and then final stage you saw a lot of people taking two-stop strategy versus one, so that was pretty interesting. But I do like road courses, for sure. I think they should have a couple more. I think 5 or 6 would be a good number for the Cup Series. I mean, they have, what, 5 in the Xfinity Series? They can have 5 in the Cup. Xfinity Series is a shorter schedule, too, because they run Mid-Ohio, Road America, Watkins Glen, Charlotte Roval, and they had the Indy Road Course this year. So that's 5 road courses in the Xfinity Series. They could easily have 5 or 6 in the Cup. I'd like to see it. If they did add more road courses, let's say they have 5, I think they should have 2 in the playoffs. I think the Roval should keep its playoff date. If Watkins Glen wasn't in upstate New York, I'd say Watkins Glen should have a playoff date. I think the only way they'd be able to really get another road course in the playoffs is if they move Sonoma to the playoffs, because every other road course they race on is in the Midwest, and you get into those September, October months, you know, it struggles to break 60 degrees. I would know because I live in Northwest Ohio. I think the high temperature today was like 68 degrees in Toledo, so, which it's not cold for us, you know, but 3 weeks from now it's going to be struggling to break 60, so maybe it won't be the most ideal place to go this time of the year. And that's why you see Michigan race in the summer every year and Pocono in the summer every year for that reason. But there's a pass for position on Austin Cendrick. Again, Kyle Busch playing the 2-tire strategy. That's why his pit stop was only 11.4 seconds when he was on pit road. A bit slower of a stop for right sides only, but see how much time he can gain here. Kyle had the fastest car on the racetrack before he pitted the 2 right side tires. Made the car just a tad bit looser, of course. That's going to generally happen when you take right sides only. Get those older left side tires. And the fresh, lower air pressure typically when you start And then obviously the air pressure builds up over the course of the run. So it tends to kind of make the car looser. Rear end likes to slide a little bit more, but Kyle's driving it all right now. Well, this is going to get tight right up the middle. Between the 15 and the 78 there. He's got a big run on Brandon Jones. Push to the top, Austin Hill, Jones underneath him. Bush is going to get a huge run off of turn 2 on the outside with Jones on the bottom. Easily clears him and drives away. I'm not really a big F1 fan. I hardly watch any races. It's just hard for me to watch. I just think there's too many rules. I can't remember exactly what race it was, but the last one I watched was last year. It was that one that Vettel got the win taken away from him because they said he cut the course, and wasn't there like an incident where he... Or no, maybe it wasn't cutting the course. I don't think it was cutting the course. I think it was like they called him for blocking. And I can't remember if there was an accident or him and another car got together and he pulled back up onto the racetrack in front of him. But he was just like... He was basically like his momentum was taking him there, and then... But yeah, anyway, they gave him a 5-second penalty for blocking. He crossed the line first, but I think he finished like... I think he finished 3rd that day. That, and I think I watched Monaco last year, and that was, I don't know, just... Monaco's interesting for how difficult the track is, but, I mean, you can't pass on that track. Like, it's so narrow through a lot of the portion of the racetrack. The corners are just so tight. I mean, it's basically, you qualify... And 9 times out of 10, whoever qualifies on the, P1 is going to be winning the race 9 times out of 10. Get the track position. So championship races for each series. Xfinity Series, Talladega, as I mentioned. The Cup Series, we have 1 race left. It is the Southern 500 at Darlington is the championship race there, and the championship race for the Truck Series is at Vegas, Las Vegas Motor Speedway. And we have just that race remaining too. So we're playing catch up with the Xfinity Series. We had a late start to it because remember the game kept crashing on the Xfinity Series custom schedule. So it took us a few extra weeks before we got it rolling. So that's why we're a little bit behind with it. But all 3 championship races will be next week on the channel. By the end of next week at the latest, so. Plan on that right now. Look at the lead Kyle Busch has right now. So all these other drivers just cycled out of the pits. Jesse Little and Justin Allgaier are the only other guys on the lead lap. So we are cycling through the green flag pit stop, so that's why Busch is back in the lead and by a wide margin. But now Little, Allgaier, everybody else that is a lap down is on 4 fresh tires, so they're going to try to run Busch down. Busch only has 2 fresh tires, and he's had about 10 laps on those right sides too before they had pits. So if this goes green long enough, that left front tire is going to get really worn out, and Busch is going to definitely end up giving up the lead by that point if we stay green. But it'll be a great strategy call if we can get a caution before then. That is going to trap a ton of cars 1 lap down, and that includes Austin Cendrick. And again, that is important simply because Kyle Busch is racing Austin Cendrick for that regular season title. IndyCar is the most... I honestly, I'd much rather watch IndyCar than Formula One, to be quite honest. I think IndyCar is entertaining. It depends on the track and the variety for sure. I think just road course racing in general with open wheel is just tough to pass. I mean, even in stock cars it's tough to pass too, but it's a little different because the cars slide around. They're a lot harder to handle, but IndyCar does put on some good races. Wreck Cendrick for the championship. No, I'm not going to do that. Even though we got into each other at Mid-Ohio and I crashed out there. It was just hard racing between the two of us. I was racing a little too aggressively, then he raced a little too aggressively, and we just both crashed. It was just unfortunate he ended up going on to win, and I DNF'd. The worst part is, we still had like 30 laps to go, and we were racing like it was the last lap of the race. "17 people watching currently right now. Thanks for everybody tuning in. We're almost halfway home at Homestead-Miami Speedway here tonight. Second to last race of the regular season. And coming into the race for the regular season title, Austin Cendrick has the points lead by just 7 points over Kyle Busch into tonight. No stages for this custom schedule season. We will have stages in Season 2 for all 3 series. But here comes Chase Briscoe now to get that lap back on 4 fresh Goodyears. To the inside, Busch gives him plenty of room. Busch going to get the run off the corner, though. Cendrick is on the bottom, trying to side draft, just in case that caution comes out. Busch going to hang in there as much as he can. He's giving Cendrick a lot of room to race. Cendrick going to pull up in front of him. Busch with the crossover now down to the bottom. Maybe taking the line away of the 98 car. And he clears them right back through 3 and 4. But as he slides up the track, they're 3 wide. Chase Briscoe to the bottom. Busch makes contact with the 07 of Ray Black Jr. He was out of shape there. Remember, those left side tires getting really old on Busch's car. So maybe he lost the grip through the center of the corner. Briscoe. But look at the run Busch gets running that higher lane. He's going to have a shot to get back around him to the inside to 3 and 4 again. He clears him again. Briscoe maybe going to try another crossover, and he's going to get there. So they go back and forth. 99 laps to go, just past halfway now. By the way, if you're new to the channel, subscribe. We got daily NASCAR content on the channel, such as these full race live streams with a realistic broadcast. Oh no! No, Busch got loose! Busch got loose! He clipped Cendrick, or sorry, that was Chase Briscoe. My goodness, Busch got loose off of turn 2, clipped Briscoe, somehow kept it off the wall. He had to check up because Austin Hill got in the way, and when he checked up, that's when the rear tires slid on Kyle Busch's Toyota. And he clipped Cendrick. I keep saying Cendrick, Chase Briscoe. And Briscoe, almost unfazed, just kept going. And if Busch would have wrecked out there, his chances of winning the regular season title would have basically been over at that point. If he had crashed out there, that was a big time save. Wow. Harrison Burton still quite a ways back. Well, one way or another, that gets Briscoe his lap back for now. Amari P, welcome to the stream.
Your tires are getting pretty bad.
This is the second to last race of the regular season. So Richmond is the regular season finale tomorrow. Tomorrow night, similar start time to that one, right around 7:30 or so. I don't know why I kept calling Chase Briscoe Austin Cendrick. It's probably because I keep thinking Cendrick is the guy I'm racing for the point standings. I don't know why I kept calling him Briscoe. That made the call a little worse than what it actually should have been. But nevertheless, we got that cleared up, hopefully. 95 to go as Busch is trying to ride it out as long as he can before he takes the stop. Next stop will be a 4-tire pit stop for Kyle Busch. And again, he will give up the lead. He's got about 19 and a half seconds back to Jesse Little, but then that'll give Kyle 4 fresh tires. He can try and run these guys back down again. We've only had 1 caution today. That was back at lap 37. We have gone 80 laps during this green flag run, or almost 80 laps. That was 76 complete at the line there, so there's 4 more laps and we'll get 80 laps into this green flag run. You have to wonder if we're going to get another yellow. And Briscoe keeps getting caught behind the lap traffic. Busch is running him back down again. He's got a big run to the inside, 3 wide. Awkward angle into the corner, down to the bottom. He clears Briscoe. Caution is out. Oh, what a tough break for Chase Briscoe. Caution flies right after he went a lap down. Great news for Kyle Busch. He will not have to make the pit stop under green. That's going to trap a lot of guys a lap down. And here comes the 4-tire stop. Jesse Little will hit pit road also. Couple guys staying out, hopefully trying to get the wave around. Briscoe will get the free pass, but he'll have to restart at the rear of the field versus right up there with the leaders. So Allgaier will restart on, I should say, in the lead, but he is on older tires. Green flag back in the air. Little on the bottom of the racetrack. Busch, first driver on 4 fresh Goodyears, winning the race off the pit road. He's on the top. Trying to get that drive off. Allgaier's got about 20 lap older tires, but Allgaier's holding in there pretty well for now. Busch gets the run off the top. Big side draft down the back straightaway. And Kyle Busch into turn 3 will easily clear the 7. Oh, barely gets down in front of the 4 of Little. Busch slides up the track. Jesse Little to the bottom. Jesse Little to the lead off of turn 4. He's dominated the early runs in this race. We'll see if Kyle can maybe try to keep up with him. He's going to do whatever he can, but Jesse Little, for about the first 20 to 25 laps of the run, is the superior driver, the superior car. And it's going to be tough for Kyle to keep up with him here for a little bit. Only the second caution of the race. Here comes Jeffrey Earnhardt. He's in 5th. He took tires under that last stop. He's the first driver 1 lap down. I did see Cendrick did pit under that caution as well. He was in 9th at the timing of the yellow. Trying to gain some track position under the green flag conditions here. And Earnhardt, we'll see if he's got anything for Little to try and get back on the lead lap. If not, he's racing for the free pass in 5th. Favorite driver in ARCA? I don't really watch ARCA too much. There's not really many full-time drivers. I would like to see Haley Deegan succeed. Michael Self seems like a pretty cool dude, though. Anthony Alfredo, Daniel Hemrick, 6th and 7th. Oh man, Busch's car really took off on him there off of turn 2. Luckily, those other guys had him cleared for a quick moment. Look at that run. Hemrick got on the inside. I think Alfredo might have lifted too much on the outside. Hemrick is going to pass him for 6th. Yeah, I don't really have a favorite driver for the Xfinity in the truck. Chase Briscoe is a pretty good guy. He's got a cool story going on. I'd like to see him succeed. I'm a Penske fan, mainly because Blaney races for Penske, so Austin Cindric would be pretty cool to jump up there. AJ Allmendinger is a cool dude, but he races part-time. I've been on since last year when he runs those road course races. He's ran more ovals this year, too. I really want AJ Allmendinger to run full-time in the Xfinity Series. I want to see him compete for an Xfinity title. I think he could do it, honestly. He's only got 1 career win in the Cup Series. Cup Series never really panned out for AJ, but I think he could be like a Justin Allgaier type driver in the Xfinity Series, just like that veteran. And that's what the Xfinity Series needs. They need more guys like Allgaier, you know, older guys that are full-time Xfinity guys. I think it's going to help the young drivers more into the future especially with the limitations that the Cup Series drivers have in racing in that specific series. So caution's out now for the third time after just a few laps into the green flag run. So Briscoe will get to restart right back up with these guys this time. And Jeffrey Earnhardt will get the free pass in 5th. So very interesting here under this stop. Kyle Busch is going to stay out. He's only got a set and a half left of tires. That was a quick caution. It looks like Jesse Little's going to pit again. Justin Allgaier will pit for 4 fresh tires. He saw that staying out did not work for him. So Kyle Busch will restart from the lead. Briscoe will restart second. But those two on older tires. Busch has a little bit fresher tires than Briscoe. But Little and Allgaier on fresher tires. So we'll see how this pans out. Green flag back in the air. Kyle Busch will lead the field to the green. 81 laps to go following the third caution of the race. And Kyle Busch trying to add to the win total. Trying to give himself the lead in the regular season point standings. A win would go a long way into doing that. 5-point difference between first and second. 1 point per position from second on back. So there's a big step up from finishing first or second in a points battle. That was only 7 points. The difference between Cendrick and Busch coming into the night. Especially when Busch was behind. And here comes Jesse Little. Took him about a lap to get by Briscoe, but he is there. He's going to run the top side of the track. Busch kind of runs the top line through the exit of the corner to kind of pull up there, hold him off as much as he can, and Briscoe still holding up Allgaier back there for third. Oh man, Little about ran into the back of Busch. Busch is trying to keep him behind him, but he just doesn't have the grip in the car that Little does on those fresher tires. 79 to go. Busch still leads. Allgaier up to third now. Big run in the center of the corner that time by Busch. He slides up the racetrack. Oh, almost put in the wall. Here comes Little. Busch trying to side draft up the right rear corner panel now. Jesse Little to the lead. Little down to the bottom now to protect. Busch is not going to be able to get him back. He had to make quick work of him before Allgaier was going to come up there and give Little a run for his money. Great run there by Jesse Little, and he's had a great run throughout the course of the race tonight. And here comes Allgaier now for second. And now he needs to make quick work of Kyle Busch. He is all over the back bumper of Busch off of turn 2. Busch couldn't quite grip the bottom that time through 3 and 4, and here comes Allgaier, easily clears him, sets his sights for Jesse Little. Of the drivers in the top 5, Allgaier and Busch are the only drivers that have a win this season, barely. The 9 different winners is definitely hurting Briscoe's chances of making the playoffs. Again, like I mentioned, we're going to see at least a couple very fast competitive cars miss the playoffs. We've had a couple upset wins this year. Austin Hill won at Daytona. Joe Nemechek won at Talladega. As long as they finish in the top 20, they will make the playoffs. Last we saw, Austin Hill was 1 point below 20th. So that's definitely makeable. He can make up that ground. And Joe Nemechek was 23 points behind. Remember, that was going into last night's race. So that was not updated coming into tonight. As far as what we looked at, remember I've had to calculate the points myself again because the game kept crashing with the Xfinity series and we did not want to restart the season because we did get one race in, so I've been having to calculate the points manually, so that's why I'll get on that when the race ends later tonight and I'll have that ready to go for tomorrow. But right now, oh boy, Busch got loose off of turn 2 again there, a little bit too low of an exit. Yeah, we're plenty good on fuel from that last stop. The way we've been wearing out the right front tire here tonight, we definitely have to pit for tires, or at least right side tires, before we'd even have to worry about fuel. So I'm not really too worried about that going forward. Guarantee everybody's going to have to make one more stop before the end of the race. Obviously, with Busch not pitting under the last caution, he will have to pit before Allgaier and Little. And Chase Briscoe did not pit under either of the last two cautions, so Briscoe's going to have to pit even before Busch does. Probably by only a couple laps, though, because, again, Kyle's been wearing out his tires a little more than the rest of the field tonight, so... It's definitely been a fun Xfinity Series season, very competitive all year long between Cendrick and Busch, and the fact that it's coming down in the final couple races for the regular season title, it's pretty awesome. Both drivers got wins early in the season. Busch won the third race of the year. That was his first win. That was at Martinsville. Cendrick won the second race of the year at Charlotte. Both have had multiple wins even since, and they've just been neck and neck all season. Cendrick has led through the points for the most races this year. Really, Busch didn't even take the lead until race 19 or 20. And then led for a handful of races before Cendrick got the lead back, all in one fell swipe there. A 30-plus point lead by Busch, and a major issue with Cendrick at Mid-Ohio. And you wonder if those two have to race each other if it comes down to Richmond. We saw how aggressive they were racing for the lead, knowing how important that was for both of them at Mid-Ohio in the second half of that race. What would happen if that came down to Richmond, or even the championship at Talladega later in the year? Because those are definitely the two championship favorites. We know two other drivers will meet them there for the championship, and anything could happen at Talladega. But, I mean, how could you not say Cendrick or Busch is not going to win the championship this year? It's just so hard to comprehend how dominant both of them have been. Pit 19 laps and spin your car with... No, I'm not going to spin the car. Clever plan there, but no. Let things ride out here. That last green flag run was definitely the shortest by far tonight. I don't even think we made it more than 10 laps. In the prior two runs, we went 37 and barely over 80 laps in between those cautions. So, between cautions 2 and 3. Again, I don't even think we made it to the 10 lap mark there. When we get later and later into the race is typically when you see more cautions, more aggressive restarts. Seems like Busch is slowly starting to run down Justin Allgaier. Allgaier doesn't look like he's got the speed he did earlier in the race. Kyle doesn't have that much older tires than these guys. Remember, again, that green flag run was barely less than 10 laps. It was going to help Allgaier and Little on the initial restart, but the tires were going to even out after a dozen laps or so. And I think that's what you're seeing right now. Tires are starting to even out. It would have been a lot different if they would have had, say, about 15 to 20 to 25 lap pressure tires or more. I think that would have made a huge difference, and you wouldn't even see Kyle cut and back into that deficit. But although, again, the fresh tire advantage, about 6, 7, 8 laps fresher tires, it's only really going to help them more for those first 6, 7, 8 laps, and then they just started to even out, and that's why you're seeing Busch. Plus, he's been running the top side more often than not. He is cutting into the lead and as well into second place on Allgaier. Allgaier's been running the bottom. Little just moved up to the top through 1 and 2 up there. And look at the speed down the back. Busch runs the top into 3 and 4. Again, he goes to the top. Allgaier again to the bottom. Oh, but Busch is in the wall in turn 4, and that's going to hurt his momentum. That's the risk with running up there. He's been very, very good on the top today. Handles pretty well, but that's the second time he's gotten in the wall now. Luckily, he hasn't gotten in the wall hard. He almost got in the wall again there. Boy, that car was loose, but look at the run. He was able to stay in the gas, and he still carried the corner exit Now looking for the slide job through 3 and 4 down to the bottom. He clears Justin Allgaier. Allgaier tries to get the car to cut off the exit of the corner. He does. He can't get the run. No crossover for Allgaier that time. Lap traffic up ahead for Jesse Little. Kyle Busch and Allgaier will soon follow. Look at how deep the 7 car drove it into turn 1. Trying to get back to the inside of the 54. Couldn't get it done there. And Busch, after running the top there, is going to pull him down the back straightaway now. 2.5 seconds is the difference between first and second now. Felicia, welcome to the stream. Oh boy. Hesitated on where to go that time between Williams and Hill. Yeah, I do remember Chad Little. He drove the, oh man, what paint scheme did he drive? Or what number was he? Wasn't he 97? I think he was in the 97. I want to say John Deere, but I'm not entirely sure on that. He might not have had the John Deere paint scheme. I'm thinking John Deere number 97 car is what Chad Little used to drive. Oh man, Busch about to put it in the wall. He's driving really hard and aggressively on the outside, but now lap traffic in the way. Look at him shoot the gap. Man, he barely cleared the 44 there. He's aggressive. Kyle Busch tends to be there. 60 laps to go. 2.5 is the difference. Oh boy. Yeah, I know. I hold the wheel a little different. It's more comfortable for, you know, the way I hold the wheel. All right. It might seem weird, but if you ever watch Dale Jr.'s in-car cam, he kind of holds it the same way. Dale Jr. is left-handed, so it's more comfortable for him to have his hand on the wheel, like, kind of similar to how I have it right now. He had the left hand at the top, and he'd use his left hand to turn rather than his right hand. And I kind of do the same way. Now, I'm not left-handed, though. I'm right-handed, but this just feels more comfortable for me. I wasn't able to do it. I did do it in go-kart racing when I had a circular wheel, but then I went to, like, I went to a different wheel, so I had to kind of change how I drove the car back when I was younger. Little keeps going to the bottom of the racetrack. Kyle Busch keeps going to the top. Busch getting the run down the straightaways. He's going to get there. Sooner or later, tires have came in for Kyle Busch. Big run down the back straightaway. Little tries to pull up. Busch now to the bottom of the track for the lead into turn 3. Oh, he overdrove the corner trying to slide in front of him, and here comes the 4. Jesse Little to the bottom, but he could not clear the 54 of Busch. Tried to side draft him down the front straightaway just a little bit. How deep is Little going to send it through 1 and 2? He didn't send it enough. Busch with a big run off the top of turns 1 and 2 and drives away from Jesse Little. So Kyle Busch holds on and he takes the lead away. With less than 60 laps left, we do know at least one more pit stop still to come. In a race that has only had 3 cautions. You wonder if that last restart was going to be the final one. Yeah, it's definitely all in comfortability. Yeah, I just always drive with my left hand. I don't know why. This feels comfortable. But it's weird though, because when I actually drive a car, with one hand, I use my right hand. So it's just like, as far as like the racing aspect goes, I've always just kind of used the left hand and pulled it over. But I'm not ambidextrous at all either, because like even when it comes to like writing everything else, I can't do any of that. I can't throw a ball left-handed. Just when I'm racing, for whatever reason, I use my left hand more than my right hand. It's a lot easier too if you have a stick shift. If you could race really well with your left hand, like I can. Okay, that was probably a bad idea. Got really loose doing that. So okay, I do need two hands on the wheel with the steering of the car here, but if you did have a stick shift, it's a little easier. I've never driven a stick shift before, but I'd have to imagine if you're left-hand dominant, it's probably a little bit easier. No doubleheader tonight. I got to get to work early in the morning. I'm surprised how late this race is actually running tonight. I guess we're barely over an hour into the race. Now those tires are getting pretty old for Kyle Busch. Now remember, again, Allgaier, Little, they've got a little bit fresher tires. And there's Chase Briscoe on pit road. 52 laps left. Remember, we knew Briscoe was going to pit a little bit before Busch. He had even older tires. Kyle's going to be able to stay out for a few more laps here. He's trying to stretch it. It's less laps he has to run during the next run. Hopefully he can make it to the end of the race. You would have to imagine he's going to be close. By running the outside, he can conserve the tires just a little bit. Not quite having to turn the wheel as much as if you were to run the inside lane. And there's Austin Cendrick. He's already one lap down in 11th. Not a great night for Cendrick. 50 laps to go. He is 2 laps down. But Busch is going to have to pit soon. And Cendrick was one of the drivers to pit under the last caution as well. So, oh man, I don't know how Busch didn't end up in the wall there. But, again, Cendrick can go just a little bit longer than what Kyle Busch can. 49 laps left. It will be a 4-tire stop this time for Kyle Busch. So he's got enough sets of tires left. He can take right sides and he can take 4 fresh tires one more time. It's just the order of what he wants to do. He's going to take 4 fresh tires in case he can make it to the end from here. He'll have 47 green flag laps left when he comes out of the pits, because Kyle will be pitting this time by. Triple Boy 3, welcome to the stream. Busch kind of overdrove 1 and 2. He still got loose off the exit of the corner. These tires are definitely getting older. It'll be a 4-tire stop this time by, though, for Kyle Busch. He will pit. He's got about a 5-second lead on Jesse Little. Got to make sure he watches the speed. Had that speeding penalty back in practice. But so far in the race, he's been perfect getting to pit road. 4 fresh tires. He can make it on fuel to the end of the race. But will the tires last all the way to the end? This is going to get interesting. He's pushing a Ford or Chevrolet. He's in a Toyota. Yeah, he drives a Toyota. Xfinity Series races the Supras, and the Camrys are in the Cup Series. So I want to say Tundra, Toyota Tundra, and the trucks. I'm just not sure. I'm just not sure if the right front tire is going to be able to last the rest of the race the way Busch has been burning it out throughout the course of the race today. And if he has to make an extra stop versus the rest of the field here, that could be the difference maker if we do stay green to the end and him winning and not winning. But we'll see. He is currently one lap down with pitting before the rest of the leaders. There's Allgaier in second. Jesse Little is now the race leader. Allgaier and Little can go about another 10 laps longer before they pit. It'll be a lot easier in making it to the end of the race, so they're probably going to stretch the run out as far as they can. Busch wants to get back on the lead lap before there's a caution, because otherwise he's forced to take the wave around, and that means he'd be forced to having to hope that that right side, that right front tire in particular, can make it to the end. We do have... Well, I could make it. Oh boy. Pay attention. I wanted to stretch it out to the end of the fuel run, but we couldn't because the right front tire is getting really worn out. We might have been able to make it one more lap, but it would have been stretching it, so that's why we pitted when we did. Still a half a set of tires left, so we can take right sides one more time if we have to. And if there's going to be a caution, that's really going to hurt Busch. Caution comes out, the rest of the field can take 4 fresh tires. Busch is going to have to take 2, and he's at an extreme disadvantage at the end of the race from that point on. So Cendrick's back to 1 lap down now currently. Sure, he was happy with the decision Kyle had to pit there, but Cendrick is falling back to 13th now. Not a good run for him tonight. Busch is in 4th, so currently as we run, Kyle Busch has a 2-point lead in the regular season standings on Austin Cendrick for the regular season title. Again, that's currently as we run with Cendrick in 13th and Busch in 4th. It is going to be very close come the end of Richmond tomorrow night. And Richmond is my personal worst track statistically on NASCAR heat, whether it's 4 or 5. So even if we only have like a 2-point buffer going into the race tomorrow, I do not feel comfortable with that. We'll just have to see how it goes. A win, again, is very important for Busch tonight in that aspect. Plus, who wouldn't want an extra 5 playoff points for winning the race? And there is Jesse Little. He is in the lead. Busch wants to get back on the lead lap. Just 41 laps to go for Busch. Actually, 40 for Little, being a lap ahead, so... Busch to the outside. He's going to get back on the lead lap off of turn 2 here. Lap car to the inside of Matt Mills is going to get in Little's way. Wow, Little had to check up big time. So Kyle Busch back on the lead lap. Just in case we do get a caution, he will not get forced a lap down. Allgaier and Little are on a different strategy than me right now. So is Jeffrey Earnhardt. But Jeffrey Earnhardt had to get the free pass under the last caution, so he restarted at the rear, so that's why he's only 2 seconds ahead of us right now. Ooh boy. Gonna race this weekend? What? Okay, pay attention, pay attention. How did I get the name Keegan Schneider? Well, that is my name. So that's my parents gave the first name to me, and the last name was a given because it's my dad's last name. So, yeah. Well, good luck on your race there, Felicia, this weekend. And I got the name Keegan. There's a local sprint car racer, Northwest Ohio. His name's Mark Keegan. And he's really good. He's got a lot of the track records at Fremont Speedway. It's the most local dirt track to me. So he's a Fremont native too. I live probably 10 to 15 minutes away from Fremont, so I kind of grew up at that dirt track. And I was just named after him. I got to see him at the tail end of his career. He was still winning races when I was younger. I think he retired probably a handful of years ago now. I mean, he's nearing 60 years old now. He did it for a long time. But yeah, I was named after him. So that's how I got the first name Keegan. That's why it's spelled with 2 E's, because that's how his last name was spelled. Whether he knows I was named after him or not. Pretty interesting. Yeah, I didn't really have a choice in my name. No, and I chose my actual name for the channel name because, again, I wanted to start the channel because I really want to get into broadcasting. So this is my first foot in the door. That's why I do these full race live streams on a daily with a realistic broadcast, because kind of want to get the name out there, and by putting my own name as the channel name, I feel like it's a little easier to... Oh, okay, this guy's name is Keegan Schneider. That's his actual name. Okay, let's see. I don't know. It's just in case somebody big discovers me or whatever, so... That right front tire already down to about 60, now 68% off of turn number 4. 34 laps to go. It is likely not going to make it to the end, and there are pit stops going on for the leaders right now. Top 2 still have not pitted. See Noah Gragson just coming out of the pits. He was a lap down already. Just inside the top 10, if I'm not mistaken. So green flag pit stops. Jesse Little, Justin Allgaier. And they stayed out again that last lap. And there's a mad scramble up there. They're 3 wide down the front straightaway now. Not too far out ahead from where Busch is running. Kyle's got to push it to the end of the race. He will cycle back into the lead once Little and Allgaier pit. But he might have to pit for right side tires eventually as well. Yeah, that would be very smart to pit when they do, for sure. It's unfortunate. Well, I mean, that... If we do pit, that's assuming that right front tire can't make it to the end. Because, I mean, we could... I don't know how much we could save, and that right front can make it to the end. Or if we get a caution... Because if we get a caution, we can just take the right front tire... Or take the right side tires then. That's the only reason I want to stay out. I'm very surprised how far Jesse Little and Justin Allgaier are able to run right now. Oh man, I don't know if Briscoe wanted to pit there. Looked like he wanted to get to the inside, and he's forced to stay out. Regardless of the fact if he wanted to pit or not, Briscoe forced to stay out. Jesse Little's on pit road. Oh, we got into trouble! Trouble! I believe the right front tire went out on the 93 of McLaughlin. Caution is out. That's going to trap a lot of guys a lap down there again. And that might be a caution work needed there for Kyle Busch. Tough to tell. 30 to go. That is the 4th caution of the race. He can take right sides only. He doesn't have to pit under green. And perfect timing for the caution for Jesse Little and Justin Allgaier because they pitted that lap, so they will not have to pit under caution. They'll get the restart 1-2. Well, here we go. Right side tires versus 4 fresh tires. Do I race any dirt racing? Yeah, I did. When I started off in quarter midgets when I was 6. And I raced those until I think I was like 10, but I didn't start racing until I was 8. We'll get more into that story here in a second. So we're back into the restart. 27 laps to go. What a restart by Kyle Busch on the bottom. Look at him just take the lead away into turns 1 and 2. Justin Allgaier won. Well, I guess he didn't win the battle off pit road. He was in the lead on Allgaier. Or sorry, on Little at the time into the caution. So here we go. This is it. 2 tires versus 4. When will the tires come alive on Busch's car? He's got a faster long run car. Here comes Allgaier to the bottom of the track. Oh, Busch trying to side draft him, and here comes the 20 car of Harrison Burton. He's a lap down. They're 3 wide back behind. Oh, Burton got to the back bumper of Busch. Busch had to get out of the gas. Wasn't opportune for him to hit him right in the center of the corner like he did, that is for sure. Jesse Little trying to win the first race for himself this season. Busch is trying to hold on for dear life. 25 laps left.
Say hi, say hi.
Now my strategy days are over. They are, though. This is it. No more tires the rest of the race for Busch, at least. And when will the tires come into play? If Allgaier and Little race each other hard, that could buy Busch some time. We don't know what the lap traffic will be like. Lap traffic will be caught by the end of the race if we do stay green to the end. 24 laps to go. So again, yeah, so to go back to that story, I raced quarter midgets and then I raced a rage kart for 1 year. All this was on dirt, by the way. And then I hopped into go-karts, I think when I was 13. And I started, I raced against, I guess, kids my age at the time. So right around that 13 to 16 range. Or no, it was 13 to 18, or 13 to 17. Because then when you're 18, you got to race in adult classes. But I was too good. It was dominating, so my parents like tried to plead, hey, let him race with the adults. So he's like, all right, if he signs a waiver every week, whatever. So I started racing with adults when I was like 13 or 14. Or probably 14, because I think I raced 1 year and I was 13. I won the championship that year. And I think I won the championship in rage karts the year before that, 2012. So in 2014, I hopped in and started, you know, racing with the adults. And I was. It took me a little bit to get competitive weekly. Like every now and then, I'd have a competitive run depending on where we went. But we weren't consistent with it. It took a couple years to get consistent. Granted, you have a 14-year-old kid racing out there with 18-year-olds or older, you know, and some of the tracks were new for me, so trying to learn everything on the fly, it was you know, difficult at first. But then we were in the running for a championship in this one series we raced in, and Paul Weaver's son, Sam Weaver, he raced go-karts, and Paul Weaver was another local dirt track guy, so they had like a bunch of funding. We kept up with them one season with me and my grandpa. My dad helped on the kart too, but so between the three of us, we didn't have the funding they did, and we kept up with them race by race all season. We went into the last race of the season, I believe it was at Fremont. No, it was at Attica. They have a go-kart track just outside of where the actual half-mile dirt oval is, and we were tied. We were dead tie going into the last race of the season. And I think he beat me by a couple positions that night, so it was just whoever finished better between the two of us. So that was pretty fun. That was a fun season. I think the most fun I had, one single race we went to and raced It was a $4 grand. It was racing 375 weight division class, clone engine. I mean, it was insane. It was insane how many people were there. That was the most fun I had, like, racing that day. We didn't even make the main event. Only 20 cars made the main event. Main event was like 100 laps. And it was an all-day thing. 10 o'clock in the morning, there was practice. You had a couple practice sessions. I think there was a couple-hour open practice. You went out there whenever you could, I guess, in the open. And my qualifying time wasn't the greatest. We went the wrong way on the adjustments, and I was actually running faster in practice than what I did in qualifying. So we qualified in like the 50s. But we had to run then, I think we started in the D main, and we got to the C, and then we got to the B, and I want to say the top like 4 from the B main went in, and I finished like 7th or 8th. So I mean, if we didn't go the wrong way in qualifying, I think we would have made it in. And at the time, I mean, there was, I mean, a lot of people that were older. There were a lot of like sponsors and stuff there. That would have been the big break, but we just went the wrong way with the adjustments on qualifying. That hurt us because I had to race from behind. And then I kind of mentioned on the story a couple nights ago, my grandpa ended up getting sick, so then we ended up, he sold the cart. He made the final decision to sell the cart. I wasn't a mechanic at all. I literally strictly raced the car. I would tell him, I would change the oil and, you know, stuff like that. I would do the little maintenance to the car, but anything that came like to the engine and stuff, like I just wasn't good. I couldn't remember it to save my life, you know, what to do with it. So, but yeah, he sold it, and I haven't raced since. I get the itch to go out every now and then for sure. But I was really looking into broadcasting, being a gateway into, you know, NASCAR someday. In that aspect, pretty much since like my freshman, sophomore year of high school. I've always been intrigued with, you know, sports broadcasting in general, but NASCAR is my #1 sport, so always kind of wanted to get in. So that's my general story in a quick, like 5-minute scope as we're running on borrowed time here. Busch still losing time from the leaders. He's almost 4 seconds off the lead, and we're only going to have 16 laps to go this time by. When your first race when you were 9? Yeah, so when I was 8 years old, I did win my first quarter midget race, because I remember there was a caution on the last lap of the race. So we had 1 lap left when we went green. I was in 2nd place, so I was already having a great run, great night. And I noticed the leader in front of me had a flat left rear tire, so I was going to just send it into turn 1, and that's what I did. Cleared him off of 2, pulled away. I think he lost a couple more spots. I don't know what happened, how his tire was flat. I don't know if that was the cause of the caution. Maybe he had debris or something, but I can't remember that. 'Cause, I mean, that was, oh man, that was 12 years ago. So, yeah, but or no, 12, 13, whatever, however many years ago it was. But anyway, yeah, I do remember that night. Everybody was pumped up. Got back in the our pit area, so yeah, that was pretty cool. So at least I got that going for me. I won the first ever competitive race I ever raced in. Oh, that's pretty cool. Yeah, I have met Ken Schrader before. I guess he's like the only like notable NASCAR name I've actually talked to personally. But this was when I was younger. Toledo, Ohio, they had a indoor midget race. He was signing autographs before, and we talked to him for like a brief moment there. I was kind of starstruck because I was a kid. That was like when I was racing quarter midgets still, I think. So I was only like 8 to 10 years old roughly. So yeah, it was pretty cool. Isaac Chavez, welcome to the stream. Justin Allgaier has taken the lead away from Little, and Little's been stuck in the traffic. That's Harrison Burton he's racing with right now. What a tough break. Jesse Little arguably has led a lot of laps. He arguably had the best short run car tonight. 10 laps to go this time by. Kyle Busch is cutting into that deficit. 10 laps to go. He is cutting into the lead. His car is coming alive. But does he have enough time to get there? He moved to the outside through 1 and 2. This is the time to go. To the outside. Oh, but Busch puts it in the wall, and that's not what he wanted to do through 3 and 4. Just got to remember the handling of the car is a little bit looser than normal on the short run because he took right sides only under the last stop. 2.5 second lead still for Allgaier. Can Jesse Little maybe even run him down through the lap traffic? There is heavy lap traffic ahead of the 7 car of Allgaier. Man, Busch is struggling on the top right now, but it's time to go up there. It's checkers and records at this point. Busch wants the win desperately to help his regular season championship hopes. He is within position to take the points lead at the end of the night. Little is stuck behind Harrison Burton, and I believe that's Colby Howard in the 15. Allgaier now only about a second ahead of Little. Big run by Busch down the back straightaway, 3 wide to the bottom underneath Little into turn 3. He's up to second. Oh man, Harrison Burton about got into Mike Harmon there. Allgaier moves to the top lane. Little's got a big run on Busch. He ran the outside through 3 and 4. Busch desperately trying to get around the lap cars. He tries to get to the inside of Harrison Burton. He drove it in deep. Contact with Burton. Burton gets sideways. And he goes around. Caution's out. Busch locked the brakes down, not knowing which way Burton was going to turn back up the track. Harrison Burton spins to bring out the caution. He will get the free pass. In 5th, caution is out with just 7 laps to go. They fought for the bottom going into 1 and 2. They made contact. So here we go. This is now going to set up the finish of the race. Green flag is back in the air. Justin Allgaier leads the field to the green. Well, Jesse Little might have another chance. Busch on the top. His car was starting to come in. Allgaier had the lane choice on the bottom there. Oh, Busch gets loose. He about made contact with Allgaier. He might have slightly made contact. And here's Jesse Little at the bottom of the track. Busch sticking with the top side through 3 and 4. He's got to hit his marks perfectly. No more mistakes the rest of the race. Little still on the bottom. Allgaier pinches Busch up on the top side. Busch to the top. Allgaier to the bottom. Jesse Little trying to get underneath the 7 car. Busch has been loose off of turn 2. He barely kept it off the wall. Kept the foot and the hammer down. Busch into 3. He's got the lead. Allgaier drives it in deep on the bottom. Off of turn number 4, Kyle Busch is clear and takes the lead. 2 laps to go. Busch protected the bottom down the straightaway. Kyle Busch gets the late race restart he needed. Jesse Little now going for 2nd place on Allgaier. Will he stay green enough to get back to the white flag? White flag in the air, 1 lap to go for Kyle Busch. He is pulling away. Jesse Little has gotten to 2nd place. Heartbreaker for the Ford team. They've led the most laps tonight, but they will not bring that car into victory lane, pulling off an upset. Possibly his last chance at making the playoffs unless he can do more of the same at Richmond tomorrow night. But I'll have to wait 24 hours. Kyle Busch, on the other hand, will not. Checkered flag in the air. Busch wins at Homestead. and will likely now take the points lead away from Austin Cendrick going into the final race of the regular season. Big time win for Kyle Busch. And heck of a burnout there for the 54 team until the engine blew out, but Kyle Busch gets yet another win on the season. And again, we'll take a look at where Cendrick finished in this race to see exactly how many points Busch will be ahead going into Richmond tomorrow night. But what a win nonetheless for Kyle Busch. One that he also needed, and he had to fight pretty hard through the tire strategy. And we were wondering on that final restart, was the second to last restart, on whether or not the 2 tires were going to be enough to get to the end of the race and catch up to the 4 guys there. I think he could have caught him if there wasn't a caution. He was up to second at the time on Allgaier, and then obviously him and Burton got together in turns 1 and 2, which brought out the last yellow with 7 to go. 5 cautions total on the race today. The top 5 finished on the lead lap. Kyle Busch with the win, Jesse Little second, Justin Allgaier in third, Chase Briscoe fourth, Harrison Burton fifth, Riley Herbston sixth, Jeffrey Earnhardt seventh, eighth was Daniel Hemrick, ninth was Jeremy Clements, and Brandon Jones rounds out the top 10. Austin Cendrick finished 13th. That's just the 5th race he's finished outside the top 10 this year. And it comes at one of the worst opportune times this season. Kyle Busch gained 15 points on Cendrick today. That means Kyle Busch will have an 8-point lead going into Richmond tomorrow night. So an 8-point lead into the final race of the regular season. Unbelievable. Take a look at the DNF, see who failed to finish the race. The only driver that failed to finish was Ross Chastain, finishing dead last. He needed points. He came in below the cutoff line. He is now in a must-win situation going into Richmond tomorrow. But if there's anybody that can overcome a must-win situation in the Xfinity Series, you got to imagine Ross Chastain could be one of those guys. Again, I'll have the updated points tomorrow. I'll have to get everything on my own here as usual, so the error again with what we had for the crashing of the game early on in the season. I've had to do the Xfinity points from the start of the year all the way till now, so I'll have that updated before the start of the race tomorrow. Start time for tomorrow's race will be right around 7:30, just like tonight's race, roughly, whenever I can get off of work. I need to race one day. Yeah, I live in Northwest Ohio. Yeah, I mean, I'd love to get back into racing if it was given the opportunity to me, and I could open up, you know, that schedule and that window for sure. Harrison Burton, 31.739, had the fastest lap of the race. Jesse Little led 108 of the 200 laps in tonight's race. Jesse Little led over half the race, but could not come away with the victory. Unfortunately, he brings it home in second place. He got a lot of points versus a lot of guys that didn't get a lot of points that he was racing with, but again, I think he's too far behind to point his way in. Again, we'll have more detail on that tomorrow. Still 9 different winners on the season. We'll find out who will win the regular season championship, as well as who will lock in those final spots for the playoffs tomorrow night at Richmond. Should be a lot of fun. Again, 7:30-ish Eastern Standard Time tomorrow, so stay tuned for that one. Hit the subscribe button if you're new to the channel for more daily NASCAR content. Hit the like button down below if you enjoyed the commentary of the race in general. And I will see you guys again tomorrow. So thanks, everybody, for watching. And I'll see you in about 24 hours.